Hello everyone, this is a grade 5 math subject and I am Miss Inam. Today we have a new clip and a new lesson. Our lesson for today is lesson 4-4, multiplying a decimal and a whole number. Let's get started. The objective of this lesson is to multiply a decimal by a whole number. So at the beginning, let us try to understand the meaning of multiplying decimals by whole numbers. Here we have an example. 4 times 3/10, this is whole number times a decimal number. Now 3/10 means 3 shaded parts out of 10 equal parts. Times 4 means we will repeat this amount 4 times. So this is 1, this is 2, 3, and this is the fourth amount. Now the product is by combining these amounts together. So we will take the first amount and the second amount, third amount, and the fourth amount. I took one part to complete this model, then the last two parts will be in the second model. So the answer will be 1 whole and 2 out of 10 equal parts. So 1 and 2 tenths. This is the product, 1 and 2 tenths. I can use standard algorithm by multiplying 4 times 3, which is equal to 12. Then count the decimal digits in both factors. Here there is no decimal digits, 0 decimal digits, and here just 1. So we will put the decimal point after 1 decimal digit. So the answer again 1 and 2 tenths. We will take another example, and again in this example we will use the models to understand and to know how to multiply whole number by decimal number. So this is whole number, 3 times 25 hundredths. This is a decimal number. Now this is 25 hundredths. This is the hundred chart, and this is 10, 20, 25. So this is 25 shaded parts out of 100 equal parts. We will repeat this amount 3 times. So this is 1, 2, 3. Then again we will try to combine these amounts to get the product. So the product is, let us count, this is 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 75 hundredths. So the product is 75 hundredths. Now, how to know where to put the decimal point? Let us count the decimal digits in both factors. Here nothing, 0 decimal digits, and here we have 2. So I will start counting from the right to the left. 1, 2. So I put the decimal point after 2 decimal digits. So this is the product, 75 hundredths. This is another example, but this time we will use a standard algorithm to find the product. But before I start solving, I want to ask you a question. What is the difference between multiplying a whole number by a decimal and multiplying two whole numbers? We will answer this question after finding the product. Now let us start. The first step is to align the digits. The second step is to multiply as usual. 4 times 5 equals 20. So record the 0 and regroup the 2. The second step is to find the product of multiplying 4 times 2, which is 8, then add the regrouped number. Now the product is 100. Then after we finish, we have to place the decimal point in the product. So add the number of decimal places in both factors. There is only one decimal place in the first factor and 0 decimal place in the second factor. That means there is only one decimal point in the product. So we will count one decimal digit or one digit, then we will put the decimal point. So the product is 10 whole. So the steps involved in multiplying a decimal and a whole number are similar to the steps used in multiplying two whole numbers. But the difference is to place a decimal point in the product when multiplying decimal number by whole number. This is the answer of my question at the beginning. Let us take another example. 32 and 36 hundredths times 6. Again, we will use standard algorithm. That means we will multiply as you would with the whole numbers. We will align the digits, then multiply as usual. 6 times 6 equals 36. Record the 6 and regroup the 3. Then multiply 6 times 3 equals 18 and add the regroup number. So the answer is 21. Record the 1 and regroup the 2. Multiply 6 times 2 equals 12. 12 plus 2 equals 14. Record the 4 and regroup the 1. And the last step is to multiply 6 times 3, which is equal to 18. Then add the group number. 18 plus 1 equals 19. The last step, when we multiply decimal by whole numbers, we have to place the decimal point in the product. So we will add the decimal places in both factors. In the first number, there are 2 decimal places. In the second factor, 0 decimal place. So there are 2 decimal places. In the product, we will count 2 digits, then we will place the decimal point. 1, 2, then put the decimal point, so the product will be 194 and 16 hundredths. This is another example. In this example, I will multiply a decimal number by whole number. Of course, I will multiply as I would with whole numbers. So I will follow the same steps. I will start from the 4. 4 times 7 equals 28. Then 4 times 6 equals 24 plus 2 equals 26. Then 4 times 2 equals 8 plus 2 equals 10. Then I will multiply 30 times this number. So I will put 0 first. Then I will multiply 3 times 7 equals, of course I will cross out the group numbers. 3 times 7 equals 21. 3 times 6, 18 plus 2 equals 20. 3 times 2 equals 6 plus 2 equals 8. I will add the 2 partial products. 8 plus 0 equals 8. 6 plus 1 equals 7. 0, 1 plus 8 equals 9. So I use the same step when multiplying whole by whole numbers. After I finish and found the product, I will place the decimal point. I will check how many decimal points in the first factor. There are 2 decimal points, decimal numbers. Here nothing, 0. So I have just 2 decimal digits. I will count 1, 2, and put the decimal point after 2 digits. So the product is 90 and 78 hundredths. So again, I will ask a question. What is the difference between multiplying a whole number by a decimal and multiplying two whole numbers? When multiplying whole numbers, do we need to place decimal point in the product? No. What about when multiplying a whole number by a decimal? Yes, we need to place a decimal point in the product. So in this lesson, we learned that the steps involved in multiplying a decimal and a whole number are similar to the steps used in multiplying two whole number, except that we need to place a decimal point in the product.